This is AstroPig. This is AstroPig's brother, Darter. We've been wondering whether guinea pigs would rather eat apples or broccoli. So I'm going to turn to a blank page in my science journal, and I'm going to write my hypothesis.
You should do the same thing in your science journal.
Your hypothesis is based on your previous experiences. Maybe you have offered foods to guinea pigs in the past and you've noticed that they like one better than the other. Or maybe you're just making a guess based on what you think other mammals prefer. Maybe you have the same hypothesis. And you also think that guinea pigs will like apples more than broccoli. Or maybe you have a different hypothesis. It's okay to have a hypothesis that turns out not to be true. That's how scientists learn new things. So now that we've made our hypothesis, we need to collect some data. If you haven't yet written down your hypothesis, you can hit pause so that you can do that now. Remember, it doesn't matter whether your hypothesis is right or wrong. The idea is to write down a hypothesis. Now, we get to try to answer our question. Would it be best to go ask a bunch of people what they think about what guinea pigs like to eat best? Or would it be best to listen to the person who's loudest? Or would it be best to set up a fair test and offer apples and broccoli to guinea pigs and record the data? That's right. We get to offer apples and broccoli to guinea pigs and record the data. Here we go. To find out the answer to our question about whether guinea pigs prefer apples or broccoli, we'll need to collect some data. So we'll need some guinea pigs, we'll need some apples, and we'll need some broccoli. We're also going to need a data table. Data is just information that you record. So we'll offer the guinea pigs apples and broccoli more than once to see if they consistently like one versus the other. You can set up your data table in your science journal as I'm setting up mine, or you can hit pause whenever you need to. And we'll make a place to record our information.
Since Astropig and Darter both chose apples, we'll put 2 tally marks, both under the category of apples, for trial 1. So since Astropig and Darter both chose apples again, we'll put 2 tally marks under the category of apples for trial 2. So that's the end of trial 3. We had Astropig, who chose apples, and Darter, who chose broccoli, so you'll put 1 tally mark in each place for trial 3. So since Astropig chose apple and Darter chose broccoli, we'll put another tally mark in each place for trial 4. Now that we have all this great data, we're ready to make a graph. So turn to a blank page. So an important part of making a graph is putting a title on it. So you're going to write the title of what this graph is about. So guinea pigs choosing apples versus broccoli. And then below your title, you're going to draw a straight line down, and then you're going to turn it into a big L by going across. The next step is to put a label on your vertical axis. So that'll be the number of times. And then you'll want to put dash marks up to 6. Then you'll label across the bottom of your chart. We'll have one category of apples and the other category of broccoli. Now, if we were measuring how quickly something was growing, we would want to do a line graph. But here we're comparing 2 different choices. How many times they chose apples versus how many times they chose broccoli. So a bar graph is a great choice here. So in order to record our data, we'll need to look back at our data table and see that the guinea pigs chose apples 6 times. So we'll make a bar that goes all the way up to the 6. And then for the broccoli, they chose that 2 times. So we'll make a bar that goes up to the 2. So when scientists make a graph of their data, it makes it pretty straightforward to draw a conclusion about what the data indicates. So here we can see pretty clearly that when guinea pigs are offered both apples and broccoli, most of the time they will choose apples rather than broccoli. Now, when scientists draw a conclusion based on evidence or the data they've collected, it's important to consider how that data was collected. Could we say that this conclusion is true of all guinea pigs all over the world? No, our sample size was very small. We only investigated the preferences of 2 guinea pigs. So We couldn't conclude that all guinea pigs everywhere prefer apples over broccoli, but our data does give us enough evidence to say that Astro Pig and Darter really like apples.